Hi everyone, welcome to Gallant IAS. This is Let's Score 120 Plus in Prelims 2021 series. And here we'll be solving a model question from Indian polity, and through that we will help you to learn some core facts and concepts to help your prelims preparation. And the question for today is, which among the following statements is or are correct? The Autonomous District Council under 6th schedule consists of both elected members and members nominated by the governor. The Apex Court of USA has no advisory jurisdiction. The Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners can be removed from the office only in a manner as a judge of Supreme Court. Select the answer using the course below. Find out the correct statement. Okay, so regarding Autonomous District Council, this schedule deals with administration of tribal areas, and in that they can constitute Autonomous District Council. That council will be given some kind of autonomy. Okay, and in that there are 30 members. So Autonomous District Council has 30 members, out of which 26 are elected by the people and remaining 4 are nominated by the governor. I repeat once again, out of the 30 members of Autonomous District Council, 26 are elected based on universal adult franchise and the remaining 4 are nominated by the governor and they hold office for a period of 5 years. So statement number 1 is right because it says that it consists of both elected as well as nominated members. So 1 is right here. Regarding 2, the Apex Court of USA has no advisory jurisdiction. See here in our Supreme Court has advisory jurisdiction under Article 143 of the Constitution. That means at sometimes the President of India can ask the legal opinion of Supreme Court of India. That is what meant by the advisory jurisdiction. At that time, the Supreme Court advises the President of India. Fine. The same provision is not there in the Apex Court of USA. See, when we study Indian Supreme Court, we will compare that of the Supreme Court or the Apex Court of Federal Court of USA. So, Indian Supreme Court has advisory jurisdiction and the US Apex Court has no advisory jurisdiction. That point or that fact is not down. Okay. So, statement number 2 is correct here. The Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners can be removed from the office only in a manner as a judge of Supreme Court. Here there can be confusion. Please note that only Chief Election Commissioner is provided with a security of tenure. I repeat once again, only Chief Election Commissioner is provided with a security of tenure. He can be removed only in a manner as a judge of Supreme Court. Fine. But regarding the other commissioners, President can remove them except he had to consult the Chief Election Commissioner. That's the only provision mentioned under our Constitution. I repeat once again, the other election commissioners or even regional commissioners cannot be removed from the office except on the recommendation of Chief Election Commissioner. That's what mentioned under our Constitution. And please note down, only Chief Election Commissioner is removed in a manner as that of Judge of Supreme Court and not the other election commissioners. That can make confusion. Okay, so statement number 3 is wrong here. Since 1 and 2 is correct and 3 is wrong, answer becomes option B, that is 1 and 2 only. Fine. Find out the correctly matched pair. 101st Amendment Act, Goods and Services Tax. 102nd regarding Constitutional Status to National Commission for Backward Classes. 103 Reservation to Economically Weaker Sections. All these statements are correct here. Answer becomes option D, 1, 2 and 3. See, I always say in your classes, we must note down some of the important constitutional amendment acts. Say example, first one, First Amendment Act. 7th Amendment Act regarding state reorganization. Again, 24th Amendment Act, that is, it mandates the President to sign on constitutional amendment bill. Again, 38th is important for us. 42nd, many provisions were added or deleted from the 42nd Amendment Act. Again, 44th also very much important for us. 52nd regarding what? Anti-defection law. 61, reducing the voting age from 21 to 18. 69, granting national capital territory status to New Delhi. 73rd regarding Panchayat. 74, municipalities. 86 regarding what? Right to education. 91st Amendment Act, limiting the size of council of ministers to 15%. All these things. 97th, granting constitutional status to cooperative societies. Again, 99, all the latest one. 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 114. All these things you must study. It is related to what? At least you must know. Because questions can be asked likewise. Fine. So this 101st is dealing with goods and services tax correct only. 102 dealing with the constitutional status to backward classes correct only. 103 regarding reservation to economically weaker sections. That is also a correct statement. So answer is option D. Fine. The chairpersons of which among the following are ex officio members of National Human Rights Commission? This is regarding membership of a statutory body. See, as I said, when you study a constitutional body or a statutory body or any executive body, you must note down its composition, that is regarding membership, their qualification, based on which provision that body is constituted. Okay, qualification I said here regarding membership, composition, everything. Then their functions, regarding their appointment as well as regarding their removal. That means who appoints them and who removes them, based on what grounds they are removed. You must note down important functions of that body and their limitations. These things you must study well regarding a constitutional body or a statutory body or an executive body. From this only UPSC asks questions. Fine. So regarding the chairpersons of which among the following are ex officio members of National Human Rights Commission? This is regarding the membership of National Human Rights Commission. See, the Human Rights Commission, the chairperson should be a retired Chief Justice of India or a judge of Supreme Court, and member should be a serving or retired judge of Supreme Court or a serving or retired Chief Justice of High Court, and 3 other persons, okay, who have experience or practical knowledge in human rights, out of which at least 1 should be a woman. So these are the composition of Human Rights Commission. Okay. Apart from that, some ex officio members are there. Ex officio members in the sense, just because of holding one office, they also hold another office. That's what we ex officio. Say example, Vice President of India is the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. We know that. It shows that whoever comes to the office of Vice President, they automatically become the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay. Prime Minister is the chairman of Nidhi Aayog. That means whoever comes to the office of Prime Minister becomes the chairman of Nidhi Aayog. That is what we mean by ex officio. So in this National Human Rights Commission, there are some ex officio members. They are the chairpersons of National Commission for Minorities. It shows that whoever comes to the office of chairperson of National Commission for Minorities automatically becomes a member of National Human Rights Commission. Similarly, the chairperson of National Commission for SCs, chairperson of National Commission for ST, chairperson of National Commission for Women, chairperson of National Commission for Backward Class, and National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, and the Chief Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities. These all persons automatically become the members of National Human Rights Commission. Fine. So among that all comes under the ex officio members of Human Rights Commission. Apart from that, apart from these 5, National Commission for Chairperson, National Commission for SC, as well as the Chief Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities. All these persons comes under are the ex officio members of National Human Rights Commission. Answer becomes option D. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 is the answer to this question. Fine.